we've been at Devil's Tower National Monument for almost 24 hours, and we feel like we have done what we came to do. We've had a really great visit, and we just wanted to share with you some of the things that we think are keys if you're going to be planning a visit.
Yeah, we got here at about 12:30 yesterday, and we spent the day mostly just hiking and getting to know the park, and we're going to pass along what we learned.
So it's important to know if you are just passing through and you don't really even have time to stop into the park, it's still worth it to make your route go by here. There's a really nice overlook outside of the park where you don't even have to come inside and pay the $25 fee. You can get a really nice view of the tower even if you're just on your way to Yellowstone or something like that. Just definitely swing by. If you're here longer, there are a lot of other things you can do in the park.
You can tell a lot of people come here they drive in and they go to the visitor center. The trail to the tower itself is right from the visitor center, so it is an easy stop that you can see the tower and experience the tower in maybe a 2-3 hour visit.
That tower trail is nice to do. It's up close, like Daryl said, up close to the tower itself. Sometimes you can even scramble up the boulder fields at the bottom if you wanted to get a little bit closer. And it is 1.3 miles around the base. It's a paved trail with a little up and down, but it's accessible to anyone, and it's a good way to get up close to the tower. There's also a bunch of trails that are further out from the tower, and those, because the tower is so big, can really give you a variety of good views as well.
So we mentioned hiking, which is obviously one of the big things to do when you come to a national park, but the other big thing that they advertise here is basically stargazing. You'll see signs all over that half the park is after dark. That's because we're so remote to cities and whatnot, there's not much light pollution.
Yeah, it was incredible last night to see how many stars there were just from the campground where we're staying. There were some people we saw out there looking to photograph the Milky Way, and so definitely going out after dark is worthwhile as well, as are seeing the sunrise and the sunset. The best places we found was Joyner Ridge Trailhead, where we watched the sunset last night. It was a good spot where you could see the entire tower and there wasn't anything really obstructing your view. And then the sunrise actually was beautiful from our campsite, which was not necessarily expected when we got here, but was a great bonus.
Yeah, I think that would be a good time to talk about the campground. Because when we were planning the trip, we sort of assumed, based on our experience with Rocky Mountain National Park, which we live close to, that getting a site at the campground in the park is very difficult, so we sort of assumed that would be the case here. And we actually had plans to stay at another campground about 45 minutes away. But then we did further research, and basically this park's website said that if you get here before 6, you'll probably find a site. And since we got here at 12:30, we pretty much had a pick of any sites we wanted.
Yeah, and we're actually sitting in our campsite right now, and so I don't know if you can see the tower over Daryl's shoulder, but we had great views. We had great views the whole time we were here. We couldn't have asked for a better place to be, and since the campground doesn't take reservations, it's all first come, first serve. There's not a ton of sites, but there is enough, and I think because people aren't staying necessarily for weeks at a time, that it turns over pretty quickly, and so there's people leaving and coming, every morning, and so we didn't have any trouble finding a site. In fact, yeah, as Daryl said, we could have picked pretty much anyone we wanted.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campground. Like, there's lots of space. You're not up against your neighbor, which is nice. The downside is it's a little primitive. There's no showers, there's no electricity, there's no hookups if you have an RV, so you have to take that into consideration.
So you don't want to stay too long.
Yeah. Well, and if you're staying at the campground, it's kind of nice. If you're into hiking, you can park and then just hike from your site, because the campground is connected to the rail system if you want to hike a lot.
Yeah, you can hike up to the visitor center. It's a 1.3 mile hike or a 2 mile drive up the road. The hike is through a prairie dog colony, which was sort of fun, and then up towards the tower.
It's kind of nice actually to hike, because once you get to the visitor center, it's pretty crazy up there. Like, you can see there's trouble getting parking.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cars and a lot of things going on, and so if you do like to hike, definitely think hiking could be the way to go. So I think those are pretty much the highlights of what we feel like we've learned in our brief time at Devil's Tower National Monument, and we're hoping that helps you if you are planning a trip to come here.